Remember how I said I like to build things? Well, there's only one thing I like more than building, and that's learning. And boy howdy, I did a lot of learning for this one. I knew I'd get some flack last time for not touching on H-pattern shifting, but believe me, it's been on my mind the whole time. I just didn't even know where to start. Nothing compares to the visceral feeling of dumping the clutch, lighting the tires up, then ripping away as you bang through the gears. Sure, electric cars can be dizzyingly fast, but it feels like you're more along for the ride rather than really being at the reins. So how am I, some nerd in his garage with no software, electrical, or mechanical engineering background, supposed to make this dumb little RC car shift its non-existent gears? Let me show you. For my sim crashing experience, I know that the shifter has a button in each gate that gets pressed whenever that gear is selected. Past bitsbits had already written a script to identify these buttons and axes, making it easy to see which gear corresponds to which button. Simple, right? Just limit the throttle based on the gear selection like paddle shifting. Not quite. I wanted a more realistic stick shift experience. Clutch and all. So I wrote additional functions to check clutch, throttle, and gear states, determining whether a valid shift occurred. With some fudge factor because I'm not the best driver in the world. But after testing, something felt off. After some debugging and looking at the output throttle values, it was easy to see what was going on. When a new gear was selected, the throttle value got dumped to 0 and had to climb its way back up to that gear's maximum. This meant it fell flat on its face after every shift and had to pick its way back up every gear. Uh-oh. I had initially assumed this would happen, so I already had ideas to mitigate it. I added logic to maintain throttle momentum during shifts, applying a slight decay to mimic drivetrain and RPM loss. This meant the throttle picked back up smoothly after clutch release, maintaining momentum into the new gear. This incentivizes quick shifts and penalizes granny shifts. There's one little issue with this though. First gear still starts at 0, and can barely brake the tires. How am I supposed to rip a fat burnout when first gear's max speed is similar to a leisurely walk? As always, another function was the answer. Burnout mode. It's simple. Clutch in, select first, pin throttle, dump clutch, spin tires. This enables linear throttle based purely on pedal position, exactly like my early prototypes we all know and love. Burnout mode disengages automatically if the throttle drops below 30%, reverting back to normal first gear behavior. This gives me a bit of throttle to play with when I'm hooning around. Uh-oh. In the future, I plan on adding a table or a UI that allows me to adjust the power delivery by gear. That way I can really dial in how the car accelerates and reacts to different shift points. Video's done, right? Nah. After I was happy with the shifting, I moved on to the brakes. The ESC has a built-in brake force setting, but I'm too lazy to read the manual to program it. So I did it the hard way and added ABS with Python. Before any modifications, the brakes would simply output a negative value relative to how much brake force was applied. This meant I could go from max RPM to a dead stop in an instant. Probably not the best for the drivetrain, but more on this later. I started by implementing a simple rate that the throttle value is allowed to decrease by, relative to how much brake force is being applied. This allows me to dial in a base braking rate for whatever surface I'm on.
3, 2, 1.
Next up, ABS. I set trigger thresholds so that it activates only in those butt pucker situations where you need it the most. Then I added a frequency and duty cycle for when it was triggered. The frequency sets how many times per second the brake is pulsed, and the duty cycle sets how long the brake is applied for each pulse. I haven't tested the functionality at high speeds or on different surfaces yet, but the theory goes like this. High frequency, high gain for high speed courses. Low frequency, low gain for low speed courses. I'll let you know how it goes if the car survives the next couple videos. Wait, before you go, one more thing. Remember how I said if I got an ARMA infraction I could use the handbrake? I've also mapped the handbrake, so if I ever get a car with that functionality, like an ARMA infraction, it'll be plug and play. Well, I still don't have one.
Someday.
So I can't use it yet.
Someday.
Or can I? As we learned from the pre-ABS logic, we can lock the tires instantly regardless of speed. So why not bake in the old brake logic into the handbrake? Pulling the handbrake results in instantaneous application of the old brake logic, scaling from 25 to 100%. Drivetrain be damned. The harder I pull, the more aggressive the lockup. It's still not perfect because the front wheels stop with the rears, which is why cars with a center diff have a distinct advantage for this functionality. But it should be good enough to initiate a slide with the novelty of ripping the e-brake. This one was a bit of a doozy. Eventually, however, these dumb ideas came together to make something that was a lot more fun than it already was. Next time we'll go over how I made the motion platform respond to the car's movements in real time, and how quaternons are complicated. Okay, we're done now. You can go. Or stay. Watch me drive the car. I don't care. It's all good. What do you want me to say? Congratulations? Congratulations! You did it again. You sat through me rambling on about this silly little project I made for myself. If you want to see more, you know what to do. I did get something in the mail today. I think it's an A3144 Hall effect sensor. Maybe I'll explore traction control using the drivetrain. Alright nerds, I got a live one for you. Damage report. Wheels. Lots of wheels broken in this one. Lots of crashing into the toolbox, lots of crashing into the workbench. Toast. Toast. I have one good one left. One. Don't know what I'm going to do with it. Probably just slam it into the wall. Another one that breaks lots. Universal shafts. Broken, bent. Don't know what to do. New one, diffs. These are going to break a lot. Strip out in the middle. Gears are cheap, but they take time to show up. Shock shafts bend like crazy. Servo didn't really like it when I broke this one. The gears are completely chewed out. Ran a little too hard into the toolbox. Shock towers. This one, first video, carbon, hit a weight, whatever. This one was 3D printed, lasted quite a while. It was pretty good. Then the car itself, the Stewart platform part. It got a lot more traction than I was expecting on the mat, and it really took off. So that's just a 3D printed part, that's easy. You may notice in the video that the car has crazy toe out. I just found that in my space, the turning circle I get when it's towed out like this, I get better slides. When I'm towed in or neutral, it kind of just wants to shove itself. I mean, you can tell in the video it shoves a lot, but big tires, we'll see. Stay tuned for more carnage.